Hi, this is David Valade with AltaVista Technology, and today I was going to talk a little bit about project accounting within Sage Intacct. I've noticed that there's not a lot of videos that are out there to be seen about project accounting within Sage Intacct. And I think that the reason, or at least part of the reason why that might be, is just because there's so many ways you can take project accounting inside of Sage Intacct. It's a very big product. It's really, really flexible. It can be configured in so many different ways and it gets touched by a lot of different people inside the organization, right? You have project managers who are using it. You have back office people who are doing billing using project accounting. You also have metrics that you might have on a dashboard, such as the one I'm showing right here, that ties into project accounting. So, having said all that, I thought I would just take a small part of project accounting and talk about that today. And that is, what if I'm looking at project accounting inside of Sage Intacct from the point of view of a project manager? So that means I'm not going to talk about a lot of things, but hopefully this will give us a little bit of a glimpse into what is possible. All right. So what you're looking at here, I just refreshed and I switched over to a project manager screen or dashboard, I guess I should say. So I switched over and you see a project manager dashboard here. And now this dashboard is one that I set up for me. Just a couple of things that I put here. This is all customizable even per project manager within the same organization. I can move things around if I need it. I can add other metrics anywhere I want on the dashboard. So very flexible. So having said that, let's take a look at a few things. So let me just pick out just a handful of things here. So on my dashboard, I added a report at the top here to show me a bunch of timesheets that are not with a status of approved. I can see some things that were submitted for approval, other things that are in draft. Maybe I'll take this one down here and I'll click on that. And that pops open a window and I can actually see a timesheet. So there I am at the top level and I can see a timesheet for, in this case, Amanda Roy. Had she had any attachments or receipts, they'd be here too. Doesn't look like there are any. Hers is still in a status of draft. It's not yet been submitted yet. So she's still probably working on that. I can see what she has so far as far as the projects and the tasks and departments and locations. You can see the hour she has billed. If I were to double click on one of the entries, I could see a description or note and some different things that have to do with the time that was billed. All of this might flow through to an invoice. So I see that as project manager, I could submit it on her behalf, or I could reach out to her and check and say, hey, is that done yet? I want to move it along and take the next step. In addition to that, I have some utilization reports, profitability reports, hours under budget. It's really however we want this to look. And this is the challenge in talking about this module within Sage Intacct. This could be configured so many different ways. I'm going to take just one part of it here. Let's look at our financial summary. So I'm going to expand this to be a little bit bigger. And this report, again, is something that could be modified. But what I can see as a project manager is a list of my customers off to the left, the projects that are ongoing within the customer. So you can see in this case, I have a customer called Ben Verified with 2 active projects. And I can see a lot of good information here. Not all my customers want to go down to gross profit for their project managers. Other people love it because they want to empower their project managers to manage to the bottom line. There's no right or wrong answer there, but we can handle it in any case. And each of these numbers that you see here, these are all drillable. So long as I have security, I could come along and I could say, okay, let's go look at the revenue that was booked. I can drill in on that line, pops open a window. Here I can see there's 2 percentage of complete budgeted invoices that went out, and I could drill into each of these to see what made up the invoice. I'll stop there and I'll just, I want to come back and let's look at the anatomy of a project. So I'm looking at this one here, pretend I'm a project manager. I see that one, Ben Verified, that's been going on. Quick start implementation. I'm nearing the end. I could see it was a $14,000 project. I've billed 12.8 of it. I can see the costs associated with it. I'm going to take a look at that project though, because as a project manager, I'm interested in where we are with that. So click in on the project and I open it up and I could see some information about the project. Let's take a look at a few things here. So I can see, if I were to jump over to my project summary tab, a real-time glimpse into all the numbers that go into this. So I can see, for example, cost of goods, profit, payments, the expenses here. So the way I'm accounting for this here, I can see a gross profit, but some additional expenses actually takes me below profitable on this. On that prior report, I can drill in and get more information here if I want to do that. I also have my budget as far as what was budgeted costs and budget. I can see some overruns here. I can also see the hours that I've had so far. If I wanted to get a glance of where I am, I might choose to click on the Gantt chart button at the top. It opens up a little Gantt chart just like it says. And I can see that this project was set up with 5 different tasks. And in this world, the tasks are configured sequentially with dates, and I can see that they're different phases of my quick start implementation. And I can see at a glance that these tasks are completed with the exception of this last one. The deploy one is still in progress. I'm going to click on that. And I can see some information about this last task. For example, I can see a little note here. We're slipping on this task due to language barriers. Do we have any consultants who speak German? It's a good question. Before I get there, though, let's look at the resources on the project and maybe the additional info. So, additional info, we'd planned this to be a 7-hour endeavor, and we've actually spent 3 hours with 4 remaining. And I can see the 2 resources I put on this project, Dave Harrington and Brian D'Onofrio, and they're the ones who are working on it. It's that language barrier that might be holding things up. So I'll go to my resource scheduling. You can see my 2 resources, like I said earlier, and the hours that we had planned. And with that note here looming large about needing consultants who speak German, I should take a look for that. So let me go look. I want to go do a resource search. I'm the project manager. I'm taking a look here. And let's say I want to look for employees, right? Do I want to search for just people who are fully available or anybody whatsoever? Might I want to restrict this to a certain geography? Maybe I want to have a certain location or groups of locations. Maybe I want to restrict it to a certain employee manager, like I can only see people who report to me, perhaps. But I'll leave all that blank and I will just say, let's search for certain skills. So I will search here and you can see these skills are what I have set up in my system, skills that I'm tracking. So I'll pick consultant. That's great. And I will pick, I'll say French instead of German, just for starters. All right. And let me hit search. And if I see down here, I can see, well, I have Brian, who's already on this project, and I have Kang here. These guys are somewhat available. It looks like Brian's about 44% available during this period of time from the 4th to the 8th. But Kang here, he's 100% available, and I could use him. But I don't need French, right? I think my feedback was that I need someone who can speak German, so I'll pick that. And let me do another search. And Craig Franco, 100% available. This person is someone who is available and meets my criteria for the different skills that I was searching for. Awfully powerful. Now I can even expand, this list will grow forever, so I can search any number of things. But if I see that this person's available and I want to add them, I can choose the checkbox here. I apply the selection, and I've just added the person here. And now maybe I give them some hours or take hours away. I'll just put in something easy here. We'll say 4 hours. There we go. We have it all set. And if I have that all done, I can say save. Great. There we did it. So I hit close on that. And that takes me right back to my dashboard profit summary here. And now hopefully I can reach out to my employee and have them go to work and get me a little bit more resources to close that project out. So let's say I'm still a project manager hat. I'm going to close out that report here. I'm going to go to my project listing and just hit the list of projects. Taking a look here at my hierarchy, I can see all projects. And this is actually just like it says. This is all projects, not just mine, but all projects altogether. Now, I could have other views or filters. So I could say, let me just see certain projects here, like the Harrington projects. These are the ones with a certain project manager. I can see all those. I can click on my Gantt chart. I can see all the relationships here. I might have a predefined list here, all billable projects, for example. I also love that I can configure the fields that we see on this view. So for example, this simple view, my budget view, I'm only seeing my projects here. I'm only seeing my projects here. And I can see my cost, my budget, my hours, and my percentage complete as a calculation of what I had budgeted. Pretty great. So let's say I get a call. I want to add a new project, which I can do. I will add one here. I could click this add button and I can start from scratch. But an easier way I might do this is if I search here, I might go look at all my projects. And the way I have it set here is I have some template projects that start with the letter T. So if I filter on T, I can see the different templates that I have set up. And again, this is one of those things that this list would be defined for the environment that I have just the way I need it. So you might have one template. You might have many, many templates. It's all configurable. I'll pick the, let's see here, we'll do standard time and materials one here. I'll hit the view on that, pulls up my project, and then I hit duplicate. By doing that, I have the shell, there's the standard layout of the project ready to go. So here I can update my project name and maybe fill in whatever fields I want. Under my additional info, I can see that this project is in fact time and material as opposed to fixed fee or fixed fee and expenses. And there's so much configurable within that. If I did fixed fee, that could be a milestone fixed fee. It could be set up as a flat fixed fee. There's all sorts of ways that might work. And I can continue to fill this out as I see fit. When I'm all done, I can hit save. There we go. Now, if I take out my restriction here, maybe I change the sort order. You can see there's my Alta Vista Tech project, just like I thought. And I left some fields off, but now it's ready to be used. Now I would go through adding my resources, maybe looking at the tasks that could have copied over. In this case, this is how I have my template set up. These are all set, and I'm off and running. So I can be very quick making a project, adding people to it, and then tracking my profitability as I go. There's so much more I could talk about with the project accounting here, but just I wanted to give a little bit of an overview of what we could see as a project manager, looking at projects within my fast moving organization and kind of connecting the front office and the back office to take my projects forward successfully, completely on time and under budget. Thanks everybody for watching. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to us over at Alta Vista Technology. Thanks.